My name is Mikhail McBride, and I'm in the English department, and it's my delight to introduce Andy Merton. If you were to Google Andrew Merton, first to appear is an Andrew Merton who deals in real estate. One way to look at it, real as in genuine, estate as in condition of life. Not exactly our Andrew Merton, but certainly each poem, in evidence that we are descended from chairs, grows from a fierce desire to see clearly and to give voice to the genuine condition of life. So perhaps in a way Andy does deal in real estate, whether he is talking about philosophy, world history, the antics of biblical characters, fairy tales, linguistics, death, potatoes, platypi, diners, depression, or God in a rhinestone jumpsuit complete with purple stilettos and feather boa. Clearly you'll find an amazing range of subjects in this book. And another thing you'll find, an honesty that is somehow raw, but always keeps a watchful eye on the dangers and sorrows of this world, but an honesty that is almost always tinged with humor and most certainly rooted in love. Take, for example, the poem titled Coming Out of a Depression. It begins with 8 single-line stanzas, various gradations of darkness, slowly receding, sleet, gravel in a chicken's gut, flies buzzing feebly against a screen. But where the poem starts is not where it ends, and the ending is striking in its willingness to bear witness to a beauty that the narrator at the beginning of the poem could not have imagined. In a worn wicker basket, abandoned by a stream, galaxies blooming. Back to Google. Andy appears third as a professor at the University of New Hampshire, but only if you read down to the 5th entry to find that you will find the heart of the matter. Home, it says in capital letters, at www.andrewmertonpoetry.com, the website for his poems. Here, Jeannie Thompson is quoted as saying, "Merton teaches us how to be a poem at any given moment." I couldn't agree more. The biography includes a wide-ranging list of accomplishments, including his work as a reporter and columnist for the Gloucester Daily Times, the Boston Herald Traveler, and the Boston Globe, his many articles that have appeared in the New York Times Magazine, Esquire, Ms. Magazine, and Boston Magazine, among others, his book, Enemies of Choice, The Right to Life Movement and Its Threat to Abortion, and his edited anthology, In Your Own Voice, A Writer's Reader. Curiously, this otherwise accurate and impressive biography begins with an error. It says, before turning to poetry, Andrew Merton was a reporter and columnist, and then goes on, suggesting that decades after having accomplished all this other writing, he finally found poetry. Not true. In fact, Andy has been writing poetry as long as I have known him, and I have known him a long time. Certainly, he is a much-lauded professor, a journalist with an excellent reputation, a much-read reporter, a well-respected author of nonfiction, not to mention being the hardworking, calm, and very patient chair of the English department. But at the heart of it all, and perhaps the real fire that kept and keeps everything else alive and thriving, is his fierce allegiance to reading and writing poetry. This allegiance has never wavered, despite the disappointments and sorrows and losses that beset us all, and sadly stop many of us from doing what we love most. In evidence that we are descended from chairs, there is sturdy and luminous evidence of what happens when you fight to remain true to yourself and win. Oh, the wonderful delights that threads through this book. I'll finish by reading a Merton poem that might have been wryly titled Ars Poetica, or On the Nature of Poetry, but in fact is titled Chickens. A man said to me, "Let's get those chickens registered." There were no chickens. The man had a tiny car. We drove underneath the traffic looking for an airport. The only place you can register a chicken is in Missouri, but he didn't mind. The important thing, he said, was to keep trying. Certainly, Andy has been and is one of my favorite poets, someone I have turned to for inspiration and guidance over a period of many years. It is with great pleasure and deep gratitude that I give you Andrew Merton.